All right, here we are. Since the interior has already been taken out, this is where the fuel tank sending unit is. So if we pull the insulation, there's a cap here. It always sticks. If you lift this up, you usually get the cap with it because it's sticky, but that doesn't really matter so much. It's already disconnected. That's the sending unit. There's a ground wire, and then there's two signal wires. One's for the sending unit, for the level, and one of them is for the low fuel warning light. There's a contact that just grounds internally, and it puts the low fuel light on. So that's that. We're going to attempt to get these two hoses off. Probably this one first. The clamps as loose as they can go. Okay. This tool is kind of nice. They can push the tube off, push the hose off the tube, but you have to be careful it doesn't pinch your hand. But let's see if it'll work on this. It might not. Oh yeah, that does. It's pretty good. Like that. Not like that. Okay. Well, that's as far as we're going to get with the tool. These hoses are going to be replaced, so we don't have to be too careful with them. But it's not an easy task if the fuel tank is in, so you want to be careful with those. And let's try this one. If these don't want to move, you can lift them up and spray a little soap in there. But all in all, they come off fairly easy. Yeah, even with the pliers, there's no damage. Okay, these hoses are going to be in the way. Well, we'll see how that goes, where we have to move it. Top of the ring nut that holds the sending unit in comes off fairly easily. Normally, you just give it a couple of pokes, and it'll loosen right up. That was easy. Oh boy. The sending unit's stuck down there pretty good. I think it's become part of the fuel tank. You need to lift it up a little bit so we can, oh, there we go. So we can get the nut up there with it. These hose out of the way. I'm so excited. Can't wait to see him. I hope there's nothing alive in there. Yeah, this hose is in the way. Where's my assistant when I need him? I think he's at an Austin Healey meet. Oh, here we go. There's the sending unit. That's an indication of what's in the tank. That's not good. There's usually there is a float inside of here that's supposed to would slide down here, and that's what gives you the fuel reading. But I think it turned to dust. Well, much to my surprise, it's actually fairly clean in there. There's a lot of dust, but there's no muck. That could be because this is a plastic tank, not a metal tank. I don't know if you can see how well you can see in there. But it's not too bad. So taking the tank out, we're not going to lose any fluids or muck or goo. It's just going to come right out. So while we're up here, this is the filler neck area. There's some hoses in here we have to take off. So this piece just, since the interior is already out, that's got to come out first, obviously. We're going to remove the insulation panel. And that's a nice heavy rubber mat. That's going to go back on. The foam will probably use a different type of insulation pad. So, step. 2 nuts, 8mm head. So we'll take those off. Surprisingly, the car is coming apart quite nicely. Slow process, but it's coming. Screw here. That's it. Now, we don't want to scratch anything in here. This is stuck down with, I think, like a butyl rubber. So this is going to take a while. Okay, that'll get it loose. We can't get it all the way up because of the studs. It'll have to come off the top and then straight up, but at least it's loose. Let's see what we can do here. Not too bad. Okay. This is butyl rubber, sticks really nice, makes a great seal. It's also good to put into a Phillips screw head. If you have a hard time with a screw on a screwdriver, it keeps falling off, you can ball this up and stick it right in the screw head so it doesn't fall off the screwdriver. A little trick I use a lot. Alright, we have vent lines, and the filler tube goes right into the top of the fuel tank. Where do we begin? Not too bad. There's a lot of hose, a lot of the tube in there, so there's a lot of friction. I'm going to put some soap in there. We'll see if that helps. There we are. There's a flat spot here, but I think that's supposed to be there. I don't remember seeing that on other cars, but I don't think I pinched it that hard. Fuel filler hose. I'm going to try to take it off. I don't know if I can get in there. I might not be able to get in there. So we'll take the hose with the tank. And I think we're going to give it a little bit of soap. I don't use penetrating oil for this because the rubber soaks it up, and some rubbers don't like it, and it also stays around. So if you put penetrating oil on a hose for a fuel line or something that stays there, it makes the hose kind of slick, and it could actually pop off with the clamp on it. So the soap just dries up and it gets out of the way. So cap off. Well, the hose isn't going to go down because it's too rigid, and I don't know if I can pull this up. It's possible if I take the boot off. Take the fuel filler lid off. That's hitting the boot. Oh, the wire ring. Okay. I forgot about this part. There is a ring that holds the outer piece on. This is supposed to hang here so the fuel filler doesn't scratch your paint. This is no good now. But this ring actually keeps the boot in on the outside. I should have taken that off first. Not the easiest thing to take out, but once you get that ring off, it looks pretty simple. Okay, there it is. Not the worst shape, but maybe we'll clean that up in the ultrasonic cleaner and might be able to reuse it. This is a drain for the water to go down, or the excess fuel spill, but there's nothing connected to it. Don't know why. Okay. So, okay, this line would go to the vapor canister, I believe. Holding the tube down to a bracket. Okay, easy enough. Let's see if this will come out. There we are. This little anti-splashback there. Nice. With a pile for cleaning. I'm going to leave the hose on the fuel tank. This also goes down to the fuel tank. What else do we have here? I don't think that goes to the tank. Well, it's off anyways. So, okay. Time to go back underneath the car. We had enough fun up here. I don't want to be up here anymore. All right, we're going to remove the exhaust heat shield, which is right below the fuel tank. To do that, I have to take off the two mounts. Oh, there's one. Okay. Well, that didn't go as planned, but okay. And then the heat shield bolts. I have a little more control over these. There we go. Okay, the fuel tank has two straps, one over here and one on the small side. There's no weight to this tank, or very little weight, so we can leave this strap. We're going to take this strap off so we can access the fuel pump, which we'll probably just leave on the tank. Let's see what it looks like when we get it off. So there's just one bolt over here that holds the strap to the body. And it just hangs on a pivot here. It just comes right off. Here is the fuel pump. It's in a nice little insulated wrapper. I'm sure that pump is not going to function anymore. I think we'll just take the hose off the easy way. That can come off. There's the wire for the fuel pump. And instead of taking it off of this cover right now, I'm going to disconnect it from the fuel pump. I know it looks like we're not very organized with hardware, but once we're done with a job, the hardware does get sorted and gets put into a section just for that component. So the hardware is in good shape. Wow, there's actually some liquid in there. There's another note. See this? If you can turn the fuel line underneath the crimp, that fuel line needs to be replaced. Regardless, we're going to change it because it's so old. But if you ever see that under the hood of your car and it's not leaking, it will leak eventually. Okay, the next part will be the cross brace that holds the transmission, but I have to take the fuel filter off. The fuel filter is mounted to it with a clamp. So this goes through the mount, so we can take that all the way off. There we go. These fuel lines just pivot inside the crimp, which is not good. So we'll break them manually first. One. Oh my gosh. Yeah. All right, sometimes things get a little stuck. And dropped. There's the transmission mount, my pet spider eggs, and the fuel filter mount. Up there, just like that. See what condition that is in when we put it back together. The tank is loose. It's just being held on by this one strap. And let's see if I can do this without dropping it. I was mistaken. There are two more mounts that go right through the fuel tank. Now it's going to fall on me. Oh boy. That'll stay for now. Okay. Let's see. Remember, the hose is still on up there. Let's just gotta wiggle it through the hole. There we go. Oh, and we got another line. Don't let this happen to you. There's the fuel tank. And these are the two extra mounts that I did not know about. I don't remember seeing that, but there they are. The 1986. So there we are. No fuel tank. What a mess. Not so bad. More eggs. Spider eggs.